Hello and welcome. This is Corey from the BachScholar YouTube channel. I have a treat for you today. I have a 20-minute tutorial on simply one page of Chopin's heroic Polonaise. I break it down phrase by phrase and hand by hand, talk a lot about pedaling. I specialize in teaching intermediate level pianists and upper intermediate level pianists how to play the great works of the classical piano literature. I do not teach concert pianists. I do not teach child prodigies. Okay, my specialty is teaching piano to the common person, just the common person. Any age, from children up to adults. My oldest students are in their 80s. My youngest student is 5. And on the Well-Rounded Pianist, which you are invited to join, you have the opportunity of learning from me on there and viewing over 1,900 videos as I speak. I'm really excited about this website and how it has grown over the past couple of years. It's now in its 3rd year. And it has incredible tutorials on there. For example, earlier this year, I made a tutorial series on Liszt's La Campanella that some of you might be familiar with. It's a total of 13 videos long. It's several hours long. You will not find any tutorial series in that depth on YouTube. I am beginning a tutorial series now on Chopin's very famous and beloved heroic Polonaise, and I have I have 9 videos completed already. I have 6 super slow videos, an overhead camera view where you can see all my fingerings. I play at about half speed. And I have 3 completed yet talking tutorials where I have the camera from another angle and I talk and explain things. And I have another projected 6 or so, maybe 5 or 6 more to go, and I will be complete with the Heroic Polonaise series, which when I am finished, when it's completed, it will be, I'm projecting about 14 videos long. It's not completed yet, but I estimate will be somewhere around 14, maybe 13 or 14 videos long, just like La Campanella. I'm so excited about this. I love teaching piano, and I love teaching piano to especially the intermediate level pianists of all ages who simply want to learn piano. I'm not here to show off. I'm not here to play fast. You know, too many piano teachers just try to show off and play too fast and try to boost their egos. Not me, no. I care about you, the student. I really want to teach music, and that's my sole focus, is teaching you how to play the great works of the piano literature and doing it in a very slow and methodical fashion. So I welcome you to this video. View the 20-minute tutorial here, and I hope to see you over at the Well-Rounded Pianist, where you can view more of the tutorial series on Chopin's heroic Polonaise. I promise I will teach you this piece. If any pianist, intermediate level or above, you have to know how to read music, and you need to know the basics, the scales, and play some octaves and things like that. But if you know your basics, I promise I will teach you the heroic Polonaise at least at a slow and steady speed, to where you can get from beginning to end at a slow and steady and musical pace when you're playing it. So without any further ado, here is a sample of my tutorial series on the heroic Polonaise. Here you can view for free on YouTube. I promise you will not find tutorial series as long and detailed and as methodical as mine on the Well-Rounded Pianist. I have I have more videos now on the Well-Rounded Pianist than I do on the BachScholar YouTube channel. So sit back and enjoy and learn from one of my tutorials on Chopin's Polonaise. Hello and welcome to this video. This is part 3 of Chopin's Heroic Polonaise. I believe that Chopin didn't call it the Heroic Polonaise. I'm pretty sure that was a title given later, perhaps by the publisher of it. The printout that you have here that I provided for you comes from this book here, Chopin Complete Works for Piano Polonaises, Book 3, edited by Mikuli. Mikuli was a student of Chopin. I already featured his edition in another Chopin work also. This is a fine edition. Schirmer is good for Chopin. I wouldn't use Schirmer for Mozart or Bach, but it is fine. It's an excellent edition for Chopin and music, mostly from the 19th century. And I prefer to work from this copy here because this book still, I've had it since I was a teenager, but it has a hard time staying open still. So I prefer to work from this here. Now in this video, we're going to cover just the A section, half of the A section. Half of the A section is with thirds in the right hand, the other half is with octaves in the right hand. And so it's most of the second page we're going to cover here, beginning with the second measure of the second page, and we're going to go all the way to just the third measure of the third page right here. Now, when you're learning the main theme, first of all, to get an idea of fingering and technical issues like that, I would refer to my super slow videos, which you can slow down to even slower than how I played them with the controls on there. For issues like fingering, for example, I don't want to discuss a whole lot about that here, but I want to discuss more the overall sound that you're achieving and how to achieve a nice steady rhythm. And so I'm going to be talking a lot about pedaling in these videos, and pedaling and connection with the fingers and not connecting with the fingers. So you need to know when to connect and when not to connect with the fingers, when to use pedal and when not to use pedal. Very important in the achieving a good sound here. So taking the last two measures of the introduction section, we have that break, so you have all the pedals down and then you have a little break, and that was in very slow motion, but you have a little gap in sound there with the arrival of the theme. So make sure you do make a good cutoff with the pedal there, not too much though. You don't want you don't want that. You want more just right. So you want to practice that break. Now when you get to the theme here, that should be one full pedal all the way down. I know a lot of intermediate level pianists in learning are scared to use pedal. They're so used to learning everything without pedal that when they finally have to use pedal, they're scared to use it. Don't be scared. Push the pedal all the way down, the right pedal all the way down, and keep it down until you get there. Then those with staccato marks on them, no pedal at all on those. But you're going to hold the right hand, you're going to hold the C and the E flat down with the right hand, because you have hear, I released the pedal, that's staccato, but I still have that down. Because if you don't do that, it's like this. See? You don't want that. You want... So you still want that melody up there, even though you're releasing the pedal. So you have pedal, off with the pedal, and then off with everything. So when you play the A flat, off with the right hand. This is what Chopin marks. Just simply follow what he wrote and you'll be fine. So you have pedal, off with the pedal, and then pedal, pedal. Keep the pedal down though. You want the pedal down on this E flat, and then a new pedal, and then off again, like before, and then pedal, 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 pedal. So you have pedal, 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 and then each one of those has a pedal on it. It sounds a little messy, I know, but they're all rolled. In this particular copy, there are no squiggly lines on the third chord, on chords 2, 3, and 4 in the right hand, but roll them anyway. Roll all of them. And don't be so concerned about whether, just roll it, just roll your hand. They kind of go together. It doesn't go from the bottom to the top necessarily. You just roll them. When you play up the speed, you're not going to have time to think about exactly how you're rolling them. Just roll them. But you need to keep your hands outstretched. That's another thing about playing Chopin like this. Almost never will you be in 5-finger positions. Intermediate level pianists are so used to always being in 5-finger positions. You're always stretched out in here, in Chopin here. Pedal, 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 pedal. Keep the pedal down. No pedal, pedal, pedal. Off with the pedal here. And then pedal, pedal. So now when we get to this this next phrase here, make sure you, and you're going to come down, make sure you get the 32nd note there. You have, change the pedal. Did you hear that little gap? You want to be very careful that you separate those with no pedal. You don't want this. I mean, it would be okay, I guess, but I think the slight gap there is better. Bear in mind, this is still like half speed when I'm playing it now. So when it's at full speed, you know, the gap will become less. But if you don't do that gap in sound, it's going to sound too mushy and too pedaled. It needs to have that rhythmic vitality to it. Remember, this is a Polonaise, it's a march. Do not play with rubato. Do not play with rubato. Rubato is a place for more for like nocturnes, slower music like that. In march style music like a Polonaise, especially in the heroic Polonaise or the military Polonaise, for example, you need to have a strong rhythm. Do not play with rubato. Regardless of how you hear this, it should be very strong, a strong rhythm, no rubato. It should be metronomic. So we have it has these little slight decrescendo there. It's a slight decrescendo. And then he has a slight crescendo again. So now we have pedal, pedal, and the trill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would put like 5 notes for that trill. Da 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 da. You don't have time for this. You don't have time for long trills. And remember, this is half speed, so when it's sped up to 2 times the speed of what I'm doing, the trills will be fine with just 5 notes in them. Paddle, 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 paddle. Now this is a little tricky place here in the right hand. I play the thumb, of course, on the G, then sort of just jump. You're not going to be able to connect probably unless you have very large hands. I just let go and I play 3, 4, 3 on that little trill. It's just a short trill, or what would be known as an inverted mordant. So you're going to play G, A flat, G. Dun, da 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 dun, dun. But keep your thumb. Try to, when you're playing your little trill up there, don't bring your thumb up. So don't do this, but keep your thumb outstretched because you're going to need that here. You need to jump right back down to that F. I'm using no pedal here. So those really are not legato, despite the fact that Chopin did mark these legato lines there, but the pedal will cover that up. So do the trills with 3 and 4, not 4 and 5. You'll never be able to do it with 4 and 5. I can't do it with 4 and 5. It just doesn't work. 3 and 4, you're going to be able to get a much cleaner and faster. You have to like snap it, 3 and 4. Practice that with no pedal. Then when you add pedal, then it's fine. It doesn't sound choppy. Hold that A down with 2. And pedal, 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 pedal. All of those have a distinct pedal on there to get the harmony. Without pedal, it sounds like this. There's no squiggly line on the last 4 chords, but add a squiggly line there. That was to be implied. So it's not that literal. They put the squiggly lines and then they assume that the performer knows to continue that squiggly line. So it's not that, music is not, sometimes not that literal. I run into that a lot with piano students. They think they take everything so literally. They think, oh, there's no squiggly lines here, so you can't roll it. Well, do roll it. They need to all be rolled. It's just a fast roll. Keep your keep your hand outstretched. It's just a fast roll with a little rotation in your wrist here. Now the scale, this is a B flat minor. Note, practice your scales. B flat, melodic minor, ascending. Remember the melodic minor? So it's a B flat melodic minor. Review your scale. And it just goes, when it's played up to speed, you can just play that scale as fast as you can. So that scale is pretty fast. So you don't need to measure it. When I play it with the super slow video with the metronome, I measure it, but you don't need to really measure it when you're playing it up to speed. So you're just going to play the chord and then let go of the pedal, no pedal, and that's short. And then you have a pedal there. Those eighth notes have a pedal on it. That's a lot. Okay, now I'm going to go through all of the first half of the A section, what I just talked about. I'm going to play it slowly. Listen carefully. I'm going to try not to talk this time. So, beginning of A section. Repeats with octaves, which is the topic of the next video. Now, before we're done though, I just want to put it on a metronome now to show you a Polonaise is to be played with no rubato. No rubato. So don't speed up and slow down like people do. I'm going to put it on dun, dun. I'm going to put it on the speed I used on the super slow video, 72. 72 per eighth note, not quarter note, eighth note. And actually I'm going to put it here. You might be able to hear it better and see it better here. So, ready? And I do recommend playing with a metronome, practicing with a metronome. Chopin actually recommended to his students to practice with a metronome. So now. return there. I messed up one of these chords here in the left hand because I was thinking about something else. Also, I was probably thinking about what I was going to say about the scale. When you have the metronome and you're doing the scale, you don't have to really measure it. Just sort of work it out to where the beat falls on the downbeat of the next measure. So you have... So you want to land on that when the beat lands. It's not that important anyway, because when you're playing up to speed, you're not really going to measure that scale anyway. So you're just going to play the scale as fast as you can up the keyboard. Stay tuned for the next video, and we will get into the second half of the A section when the theme comes with octaves.